Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm SARKAL, an Erasmus Mundus alumni and implant and a current American PhD student. And today I would like to make a small video where I will answer 15 most asked questions for me. So I will try to cover questions like general questions and CV related questions, motivation related questions, and yeah, about recommendation letters. So if you're dreaming of studying in Europe for free with this Erasmus Mundus scholarship, this video is for you. So let's get started. So let's start with the general question first. And the first question is, how many programs can we apply? So during our time, like in 2019, 2020, we could just apply for 3 different programs. But things have changed and there are many courses being added, some courses being removed. So at the moment, an applicant can apply for many programs as they wish within an application cycle. So yeah, you can apply for many different programs. So the next question is, when does the Erasmus Mundus applications open and what is the deadline? So this is again program specific, and usually the applications opens around October to January or mid-January. And yeah, this is always program specific, so it is better to check the official website of the program that you're applying for. So the next question is, do I need an IELTS test to apply, or do I need an English language proficiency test? So for most of the programs, it is better to have an English language proficiency test like IELTS and TOEFL, but you can still apply without having an IELTS or TOEFL test, for example, in a program like Erasmus Mundus Masters in Plant Breeding. But please check with the official website of the program that you wish to apply. What I can say is, it is not mandatory for majority of the programs to have an IELTS or TOEFL to apply for this Erasmus Mundus scholarship. In case you don't have an IELTS or TOEFL test, a letter from the university stating that your bachelor's was taught in English language is helpful. And there are some programs in which the courses are being taught in either French or Spanish, depending upon the programs. For example, in our case, in implant, if you are willing to study in Spain, in UPV, then you will need to have a good level of Spanish. So please check with the program. So the next question is, can I apply before I even graduate? So yes, you can apply even if you are in your last year of a bachelor's degree. And to do this, you have to show a certificate which actually states that you are in your last year of a bachelor's degree, and you can get this certificate from your university. And one thing that you should mention in this certificate is the expected dates about when you will graduate. So yeah, you can apply. Okay, so the final general question is, how early should I start preparing for the application? So my honest answer would be that it is always better to start your preparation very early. So that means that you can go through the Erasmus Mundus catalog and at least choose the programs that you are interested to apply. Check whether you're eligible to apply for that particular program or not. And preparing means like you can also think of whom will you select as a referees for asking for the recommendation letters. So those kind of things. So my suggestion is, try to prepare as early as possible, and maybe if you have information about some recent alumni, that's very great. Contact them, ask help. Okay, now let's jump into the CV related questions. So the first question is, do I need a Europass CB for applying Erasmus Mundus scholarship? The answer is yes and no, because some programs require you the specific European format, that is the Europass CB format, while there are some programs that you can also apply without having a Europass CB format. So you are free to choose any template. So it is program specific, but I would suggest that it is better to have a European format CB so that you don't waste time, and there's a nice template for you already. So yeah, check your check the official website of the program that you're willing to apply. Okay, so the next question is, what are the things that I should highlight in my CV? So I would say that the first and the most important thing is your personal details, like clear name, address, like this email address, and your contact number, or maybe a LinkedIn link in your personal description. And after that, their academic qualifications, starting from the most recent one, and if you have done a bachelor's thesis, maybe a title of your thesis, relevant courses that you have taken during a bachelor's program. And after that, it is very important to put things about your work experiences, maybe some relevant internships that you have recently done. And you can also mention about the skills that are relevant for the program that you're applying for. And if you have a good publications, that is very nice again. And yeah, English language proficiency test. So these kind of things are very important, and you should not miss these. So yeah, and always keep in mind that this is the very first document that the selection committee is looking for. So this should be a very nicely formatted within 2 to 3 pages page limit, and there are no any grammatical mistakes, because this is the most important document. So the last question about CV is, can I use the same CV for all the programs that I'm applying for? So I would suggest that make at least some changes on your personal description, or maybe some research interest, or maybe the relevant courses that you have taken. So I think there's always something that you can change when applying for different programs. I will not use the same CV to apply for all the programs. So let's jump into the motivation letter things now. And the first question that I'm asked is how long a motivation letter should be. So I would say that this is always program specific again, but please check while applying online, because there may be certain rules, like there is a space limit of 1000 characters or something like this. So you have to be very careful if you are actually copying or pasting the text motivation letters in this online application portal. So be very careful when you have such kind of rule, like stay within the limits and write it very concisely. And yeah, so the next question about motivation letter is, can you share me your motivation letter? And my answer for most of them is no, I cannot, because the motivation, your motivation is completely different from my motivation, right? You will have a different story, I have my own story. So you should never ask an Erasmus Mundus alumni for their motivation letter or for their CVs, because you have completely different background, you're coming from different stories. So you should never try to copy their motivation letters. Of course you can, if you have, then you can get an idea how they structured their motivation letter, but you should never copy them. Yeah, write your own motivation letter. Okay, the final questions about the motivation letter is, can I use the same motivation letter for every program that I am applying for? No, you should not use the same motivation letter for all the programs, because remember that each program has its own focus, own priority areas, so you should be very critical and very careful while writing your motivation letter, and all letters won't fit for all the programs. So be careful and try to write differently for different programs. Okay, so let's jump into the certificate of residence things. So here I have 2 questions. What is a certificate of residence, and where do you get this certificate from? So the certificate of residence is a letter that proves your place of residence, and you can get this document from your place of work or place of study, and it can actually differ from country to country, but you can also make it from your municipality office or ward offices. The most important thing that this letter should contain is your name, your postal address, and the date of issue. The document should be issued within the 12 months before the submission deadline. So please be careful. Okay, so let's jump into the recommendation letter things. So there are two important questions that I'm asked. The first one is, to whom should I address the recommendation letter? So to answer this question, I think it's better to address the recommendation letter to the selection committee or the executive board, because we are writing the letter to somebody, right? So you have to clearly mention whom you are addressing. So I would prefer to write executive board or selection committee, so you can address. So the next question about recommendation letter is there any specific format for the recommendation letter? No, there is no any specific format for the recommendation letter. You are free to choose your own template. So yeah, write a good one. So yeah, I hope this video helped to answer most of your questions on Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And if you're looking for contents on fully funded scholarships, PhD application, and also science, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell on. So yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye and good luck.